Hi everyone, and welcome along to another video. This time out we're going to be taking a look at a Heayberd auto transformer which I've bought for my Zenith Trans-Oceanic H500. Now this thing is a 240 to 110 volts auto transformer. There's a few things on it I'm not happy with. I'm not sure if it works yet. Just a few things. I noticed this fuse holder's loose, and this probably points to the age of it actually, because our mains plugs are actually fused. So if this fuse is across the incoming mains, then obviously that is redundant because we've got a fused plug, but we shall have a look inside and see how it's wired. On the other end is a US female socket. Now, the thing's quite heavy. It's in a nice metal case. As I say, I don't know how old it is, but that might be a clue. I'm not 100% sure. It's got a plastic handle on it, which, you know, I don't know if that's a replacement or not. That looks like a kitchen drawer type handle that's been painted, or it could be original. I'm pretty sure that's been hammerited. That might not be an original. I would suggest that was a chrome handle. Now, Heayberd were a well-known transformer manufacturer down in London. They were formed in 1922, and as far as I can see from Company's House, are still going today. I couldn't find a website for them, however, so it's probably just a dormant company name. Not sure. Another problem is these don't appear to have any strain relief. Probably not the original cables that came out with these huge great holes in here, so we'll see what's inside. The main thing is to use it to power up my Zenith Trans-Oceanic, of course. Right, first things first, let's have a look at what fuse we've got in the mains plug. This is a very nice MK mains plug. This thing's obviously been in someone's garage or something, because there's black spray paint all up the side, or like an overspray. We'll have a look at what's inside. Right, so that's quite an old plug, and we've got a 13 amp fuse in there, which is going to have to go. It is wired up the right way. I've had plugs that are wired up in reverse, and all the connections are nice and tight. Okay, on the other end is this American female socket. No strain relief in there. You know, and this is not going to be roughly used or anything. It's just, you know, sometimes if this thing accidentally fell off the table that I was working on while plugged into live or into the back of the radio, it's going to try and pull that out. So we need to see if we can do something with that. But this socket was obviously meant for a bigger cable, because there is some sort of cord grip teeth there, and that's not really going to do anything on this flat lamp cable. So let's have a look inside the unit. I'm not sure how it comes apart actually. I assume it's these two screws. Just pull off. Yep. Right, need to do a little bit of metal bashing, and there's the inside of it. Now, this is an auto transformer with a single winding that's tapped a certain percentage along to give the output voltage. So it's unlike the normal double wound transformer where you have a coil one side and a coil of wire the other, and the voltage on the primary induces the voltage on the secondary. In this case, this is a 0 to 250. It's got a couple of tappings here to 115 out. I'd much prefer to use something like this. Unfortunately, this one failed on installation test, so I'm never going to use it again unless I get it rewound. Goodbye. So let's have a look in here. I'm not sure the age of this unit. Heayberd actually were around, as I say, from 1922, and they were quite well known for their interstage valve transformers and bits and pieces and chokes and things, and also for battery eliminators for radio sets, and also battery chargers, car battery chargers. And they used to make them for Halfords, which is a well-known car accessory outlet in the UK. Now let's have a look at this fuse, and immediately I can see an issue. Can you see? Our mains is 240, or mine's sometimes 245 here. So we got the brown wire coming in, which is the live. It's coming in here. It's joined through the fuse and out again this wire here, and it's going into 200 volts. That is not correct. It should be into this one. Now let's have a look at the, and it's absolutely filthy where it's all the dirt's coming through these vents. So let's have a look at this fuse, which okay, so that's a 3 amp fuse, which should really be in the plug top really. And what have we got? Oh, can you see? We've got a bit of silver paper. Now these are spring loaded. If I press that down, you can see that's a spring loaded fuse holder. So that silver paper is trying to make up for a gap somewhere, which I'd suggest the back of the, there should be a spring on the back of this fuse holder, and there isn't. So it's obviously broken. This surround here, and I don't know what it would have looked like originally, that's actually broken off. So I think we need to replace that. Let's just put that back in a minute. And I bet, let's get the meter out. Bet, so you can see it, it's making no contact at all. So I'm going from live through the switch. There should be pretty much nothing there, through the fuse and out to the connection there. So the fuse is not actually making contact front to back, so this thing just will not work. That's clever. So that is not good for a start. I don't know how that would have ever worked. So we've got a connection on the back of the fuse, which will go to that one. Let's have a look. Yeah, so that's the out wire there. If I can get to it. Oh, I can't reach it. We'll get that fuse holder out and have a quick look. It's obviously knackered. Right, so the front portion of the fuse is connected to this bit. Let's just unscrew this and get that sheath off. And it's broken here. Get that sheath off, we'll have a better look. This is one of those bulging type fuse holders here. So we should have a connection between front and rear here. Nope. That's in all the way. So I'd suggest there's a little spring contact at the back of some sort, and that's missing. So we've got nothing through the fuse. so that's a waste of time being there. Let's put that back. Now I really need another form of fuse to fit, or fuse holder to go in there, otherwise I'll just bypass it and put it in place for looks. Because as I say, there is a fuse in the plug here, and that is an inline mains fuse. It's not protecting any of the secondaries or anything. And this has been rewired. I think this is modern. Well, it definitely is modern cabling here, front and rear, so someone's rewired that. And there's no strain relief inside, except just the cable screws themselves. They have wrapped this bit around here. I'd suggest we're going to put a zip tie on it or something through here and wrap it. So what we need to do is take a couple of photographs of the connections and then get the transformer out, and which is, I'd assume, comes with these screws on the bottom here. Clean it all up because it's disgusting, and yeah, we'll have a look at putting it back together. Now the case is a little bit metal bent, sorry, the metal on the case is a little bit bent. We'll knock that back together with a few delicate taps of a mallet. So I'm going to try and remove this transformer, and then we'll come back. Right, I decided not to disconnect anything for now. I just pulled the leads through the holes here, obviously taking the plugs off. 4 small screws on the bottom, and there's the bottom of the case. Fairly easy. Now there is going to be some noise now because I've got the old Hoover out. So while we're here, let's tighten up the handle here. And you can see they're not the original screws, or one isn't. That's actually a posi drive. And those are definitely the wrong screws because they're not tightening up. Oh well. Right then, so the next job to do is replace that wire here from the fuse to 240, and then we can start to replace the fuse holder, and I'll maybe put like a 500 milliamp fuse in a replacement holder. My issue is getting one that's going to fill this blank here, but I might put a washer on there or something just so it fits. But I'll dig through my stuff and then we can come back and have a look. Right, let's have a look at the reassembled unit. There we go, it looks much better. So on the incoming main side, I've cleaned the cable up, cleaned this lovely old MK plug up. I still need to put a 3 amp fuse in there, and I've retightened up these connections, made sure all the wire is all nice and clean, and I've wedged this cable around here so it won't move. On the outgoing mains side, I've put a complete new cable in, terminating in this US female socket here. The cable is still not wide enough for the teeth inside this socket to grip, so I tried putting a bit of heat shrink on here, and unfortunately it's still not wide enough. So we're just reliant on the 2 screws holding the wires in here. That's going to have to be safe enough now until I can get something big enough to fit over this cable and to be able to grip that. And there's not a lot of room inside here, maybe half a centimetre for something to fit in there to grip it. So the Zenith radio that I'm going to power up is going to be on this bench, so this unit is not going to be moving about too much and everything, so that should be fairly safe. On the back end here, I've moved the black wire here that was going to the 200 volts setting, where someone was obviously trying to get maybe 120 volts out of this thing, and I've moved it to the correct 240 volt setting. Now that means I should get a proper 110 volts out of here, depending on my mains voltage, which isn't usually 240, it's more like 245 on a regular basis. I've tidied up this side as well, cleaned all this up. I say that's zip tied there, that won't budge out. Cleaned it up all inside, got all the dirt off the winding here. Now on the fuse side, you remember I was going to change it out for a smaller glass cartridge fuse. I decided to have a look at the original design of this, and what was missing, there's a spring contact at the back here, so I've actually remade something using a spring and 2 BA washers, which I've attached to the back there, and now there's a spring there. I don't know if you probably can't see down there at all, but hopefully it might catch the light. And I've obviously removed the bit of silver paper from in there, and now the fuse sits nice and tight and with perfect continuity. Now the design of this means that the fuse is never going to short out or anything. So there we go, and I've cleaned up this brass washer here, brass nut, sorry. Lastly, I've also spray painted the handle, which was plastic, and put some new screws in to hold it, so it's now nice and tight and not wobbling. And the next thing we need to do is power it up. Now this isn't an isolation transformer, it's an auto transformer, as I mentioned right at the start. So if you power up a set with this and it's a live chassis set, then the chassis will still be live direct to the mains. Very important, this is an auto transformer, not a double wound. So what I'll be doing when I'm actually working on the Zenith set and powering up, I'll be putting an isolation transformer in front of it here. So, powering up time. Let's get set up for that and we'll see what it does. Let's hope it doesn't burn up or explode. Right, we're all set up, ready to measure and test if this thing works. Hopefully there'll be no smoke or fire and no explosions. So, let's bring the fire. There was a little, as the coil energised, there was a little bit of a noise. There's nothing going on, nothing smoking. So let's see how much I've got on the incoming voltage. We've got 235, 244.5. Let's call it 244 volts. Now on the output side we've got 0 there, and hopefully you can see that we've got 114 volts there. That's with no load, of course. And on the centre tap we should obviously, that's halfway being centre, we should have about 57 volts, 57.076, 57 volts, 113.9. That mains voltage dropped down a bit. 244. Yeah, it's dropped down about a volt. And if you don't know what you're doing, don't do this. This is live here. This is 240 odd volts here. Only for people who know what they're doing is that. Unfortunately, this hasn't got a switch on it, so you have to unplug it from the mains each time. I may rectify that and put a switch on it somewhere, because I don't really like it unswitched, but there we go, that's it for the moment. So all that remains for me to do is button it up and job's a good one. So thanks for watching, and